In this series of videos, we've been looking at different two-dimensional shapes, such as squares, of triangles we've looked at, rectangles, and all sorts of polygons. If you remember, the rhombus looks something like that, just all roughly drawn. Now, each shape has certain properties, and we've looked at things like angles with them. In this video, we're going to look at another property. There's many more, but this property here is the one we're going to be looking at today, which is called the perimeter. Now, the perimeter is defined as the continuous line forming the boundary of a closed geometrical figure. So whatever the geometrical figure is, the boundary line of it is the perimeter. Now, the word perimeter comes from two Greek words, peri, meaning around, and metron, which is measure. And so together in ancient Greece, it was known as perimetros, but now we call it perimeter. And that word comes from the Middle English, which was the language spoken in about 11th to 15th centuries. Uh, but now it's been carried over into modern English, so we use perimeter. So if we have a look at something like this rectangle here, and this rectangle is 10 meters by 5 meters, and a property of the shape is if you were to wander around just the outside of it, how far would you go? So it would be 10 meters plus 5 meters plus another 10 meters plus another 5 meters. And when you put that all together, it produces 30 meters. So that's for a rectangle. If we look at a shape such as the perimeter of a triangle, and this is a special sort of triangle, you should remember this from before, because each of these sides is the same length. So this is known as an equilateral triangle. And let's assume that each side is 4 centimeters. So again, just as a thought experiment, you're sort of wandering on the borders of the shape. You're wandering along. How far would you go if you wandered all the way around and ended up where you started from? Well, it'll obviously be 4 centimeters plus 4 centimeters plus 4 centimeters. And this is the distance. Made a mistake here. If you add these together, it produces 12, so that isn't a mistake, but this should be centimeters. So just be very careful. Just look at whatever results you have come up with and just check it to make sure that it makes sense. So I just did that and I noticed it should be centimeters. Now we've looked at perimeters in fairly uniform structures, such as a rectangle and a triangle. If only everything was that regular. And over here, for some reason, the bottom of this doesn't show. This is known as a compound shape. And this distance here at the bottom is 20 meters. So sorry about that, it doesn't show, but we'll keep that in mind. And so we're going to go wandering around this, because in life most of the shapes we come across are fairly regular. So we're going to go wandering around this. What distance would we travel? Well, looking at the examples from above, all we have to do is to add up. So it'll be 15 meters plus 8 meters plus 5 meters. But look over here, this is an unknown, and this is an unknown. This here, as I say, is 20 meters. So before we can actually add up any of this, we've got to work out what x and y are in this case. And this is fairly straightforward, because if the whole of this distance is 20 meters, then 8 meters plus x should equal 20. So over here, I've written it out. There's 8 meters here plus x, and that should equal 20 meters, that length there. So if we take this over to that side, it becomes minus 8, as we have here. That leaves us with 12 meters. So x is 12 meters. And then applying that principle to y, so this is y, this is 15 meters, and we know this to be 5 meters. So 5 meters plus y equals 15. And in order to find out what y is, solve for y, we take the 5 meters over here. Whenever you take it over to the other side, it changes sign. So this will be 15 minus 5, which gives you 10. So we know that this is 10 meters. Now we can go on our walkabout this. So the perimeter would be 8 plus 5 plus 12 plus 10 plus 20, which I can't see down the bottom, but it is there, plus 15. And all of that gives you 70 meters.